on their side of things. And if for any animal lovers out there, I'm obviously joking. They don't actually try to kill each other. I wouldn't allow that to ever happen. Not to my beautiful Luna. Nobody's touching Luna, John.
Oh yeah, she is a sweetheart. That one. I missed the Luna streams, Mike. Maybe one day she'll get back in. We do have the draft developing. Rubik picked up by Neon. So lots of good spells to steal. Polaris going back to something that we know.
Wow.
This is what Polaris is known for. I don't know if this is the place to pull it out. Chaos Knight, along with Magnus, that we know Xavius loves to run on whatever position he's on. And there is some flex here for Polaris. They could run offlane Magnus, or mid Magnus perhaps for Lelouch could be one way to go. CK feeling like our safe lane here now for Natsumi. I am still leaning towards Magnus support though. Again, Xavius likely to play pause 4 here, play hard playing pause 5 Pugna, and something else to tie them up with mid for Polaris is the right way to go. I just don't know if this is the great combo. Like Magnus CK is nice. It's not like the most outstanding combination for Cleave, but it is pretty good. You have good strength gain, good base damage on CK. There's a lot to amp up with Empower, but you pick Magnus into Rubik. You know, it's like you already have the Pugna you can steal Life Drain on every single time, have superior cast range. You steal the Decrep, steal the Nether Blast, all of that's good. Even the Nether Ward's really good here for the Rubik. Now you have the potential to steal RP, to steal Empower for one of your big cores. Neon's gotten a lot of value from the Rubik in this first pick of the second phase. Just with Polaris picking up, I get it's a confidence pick. I'm just not sure if it's the right play. Like, when it comes down to it, there's still a lot of pressure to try to catch that back line of the Visage. Like, it's still pretty open. We talked about this possibility. Polaris could... Neon could run that Chuan Visage, as he would like to play some of those micro heroes, of course, as a support, so there is still some flex here. Neon go into the puck, so that is looking like our avatar mode hero on the mid. Gives you really good hold for the Timbersaw here. Puck has been fairly underwhelming though, Mike. Again, the shift in the Ags into level 25 talent tends to delay that second wind that Puck's used to go for once BKBs were flying out. So your play against BKBs stalled out for a hell lot longer, and that does take a lot of the bite of the puck away.
Absolutely. It's one of the things as well, like I start to question whether Polaris, like their draft, it might feel a little bit too greedy going against the Visage as well, right? Like we've seen how quickly this Visage can get online and start pushing down objectives. The Magnus pick is what really gets me. What is it, Jonathan? What is it now?
I just see you with your hoodie. You look so young, Mike. You look like a high schooler for sure now. Like a really hip high schooler. I'm sorry, I just saw the stream. I see you. You look so handsome and so adorable. You look so young. I just can't get over it. Like you've aged down so much. I don't know if I can even cast with you if you're able to be employed, Mike. You're that young.
Thank you, John. Back to the point I was trying to make. I appreciate the compliments for once out of your damn mouth. Magnus, it's one of the things, right? Like Team Spirit try to run it in the EEU DPC playoffs. The way I look at it is if Collapse can't make Magnus work, nobody can in this meta. That's what kind of, it concerns me for Polaris Esports. I realize they love this hero. They love running drafts with Magnus. We've seen it for years. We know all the way back from the Adroit days. It still concerns me a little bit. Again, TI10 champion who literally won with this hero can't make it work. We'll see what Polaris can do. Maybe it's all about the Empower. There's the Grimstroke out now for Polaris Esports, so just rounding it off. At least you've got Grimstroke CK combo pretty strong. John, you seem like you really want to say something right now. Go on.
Mid Magnus against Puck?
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't feel great. Look, you can play around Shockwave there, clear out a creep wave, but you're not going to put pressure in that Puck. Puck should still have a good time farming unless he always steps into that Shockwave, which is just not something I see Puck doing with a phase shift. So I don't know how much pressure Lelouch can bring out on the mid. That does alleviate that greedy pause 4, pause 5 that Xavius loves to play. So it is a lot better than support Magnus in this case.
Oh!
I just don't know if that's call. And Neon will go for the Morphling. Lots of good heroes to turn into. I mean, just turning into Timbersaw can be really disruptive in these fights. Turning into CK. Turning into CK with your own shard sounds pretty funny if Asta does go that way. And we are having a Chuan Visage, so not the pause 1 Visage, but Morphling up against Timbersaw lane is still pretty good. Timbersaw can apply some pressure. It's not the worst lane in the world for the Morphling, and your hold for the Morphling's super limited. Like, you only really have Phantom's Embrace to maybe stop the Morphling. After that, like, maybe if you get a good stun from the CK, but it's kind of predictable. Morphling can sort of dodge. So I am very concerned about what Polaris can do about that morph. It just feels like Asta's got a really good game lined up here.
Yeah. We'll get into it very soon. Game number 1 here between Polaris Esports and Neon Esports. For anyone wondering, by the way, when I was talking about temperature earlier, it was in Celsius and not Fahrenheit. We don't use Fahrenheit, you know. Well, I guess anywhere in the world apart from NA, so there you go.
Yep.
We use Celsius like normal people. There you go.
Yes, we use proper measurements. Like, how does it make sense that what's the boiling point of water in Fahrenheit? I don't even know. What's below 0 for Fahrenheit in Celsius? It's like 42 degrees, right? Like, how does that make sense? I think it's around that. It's like, I don't know. I never understood Fahrenheit. I'm sorry. I'm sure I've seen this argument on Twitter where people are like, oh, but Fahrenheit makes most sense for how you feel. It's like, does it really? Does it really? I mean, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it sucked for me as well, John. I'm a heavy set guy. Like, you use the pound system when you're weighing yourself. That's just depressing, you know? You're going into like 200-300 pounds. It's like, hold on a minute. You know, take me back to kilos. You know, let me feel a little bit better about myself. Anyway, moving on. It's not about the metric system here, Jonathan, is I believe what they call it.
Yep.
We'll go into the game. In fact, which one is the metric system? Is it the one we use or the one the Americans use?
Yeah. We use the metric.
I'm trying to think back to Pulp Fiction. That's how I'm trying to remember what it means.
Metric is, you know, your SI for the most part. I mean, Celsius isn't SI, but yeah, Kelvin is kind of Celsius anyway, with a few values changed. So, you know.
Sorry, John.
Sensible.
I exposed you there for a second. I didn't switch the cams fast enough, and you turned your lights off. They didn't see your eyes though, John. No. Don't worry. They didn't. They didn't see the Sharingan. Don't worry about it. They don't know yet. No one's under Genjutsu yet. Here we go though. First blood. Oh? Neon. They might have caught it, John. Juan is gonna get caught out on the Visage immediately, and they are gonna punish. First blood to go the way of Xavius. And I suppose if there's one way to make mid-mag work, it's probably with first blood. Though it isn't mid-mag, it is gonna be support mag.
Yeah, they're running mid Pugna. Okay, that makes better sense, but then you still have that issue with support Magnus. Again, Xavius is a very greedy support player, so this fits in line with what we expect. Whether or not he gets that build-up is a different question. Keen to see what Lelouch can do against Avatar, but that does feel a little bit tougher for Puck as they get the D ward as well immediately, and they manage to run away here, Polaris, with 3 for 1 on the bounty. So great start already, first blood, you know, ward taken away, and it's a very good ramp up in comparison to what we saw in the last game. Jing is stuck in the high ground as well. He did get skewered up, so
whoopsie.
He's gonna have to TP home. He is acting as a ward, to be fair. Right underneath the ward.
Well, what's he saying? Hold on. Hey, what? What does that mean? Uh-oh. Xavius, he's got skewer. Uh-oh, Xavius, no. Never. He doesn't have lift anyway. It doesn't matter. Bit of a fun start for game number 1. Obviously, a positive start for Polaris. And John, while we're here, we're going to start with the bot lane. Enryu and Jing against Xavius, and of course, Natsumi. Talk to me about this lane. Like, who has the advantage? Who might have more kill potential? What's going on?
I mean, you have really good setup for good skewers back, just like that with a Chaos Bolt. So Jing's gonna have to watch his spacing here. There is aggression Polaris can have, especially once that Reality Rift is up. Again, so many ways to pull people away. So you have to watch those angles. And for Enryu and Jing, it can be a really strong lane too. Once you hit level 2, level 3, that's when it feels really good for your Pangolier. Keep playing with a Swash, keep playing with a Shield Crash, it's double melee. So you're almost always able to get your double Shield Crash off for durability.
Top lane Chuan having a lot of fun with the Soul Assumption already. One of the most broken abilities at level 1. Like, you get 300 damage on a 4-second cooldown. Who thought that was a good idea? And this is all the way from Dota All-Stars. This hasn't changed. Who made this spell up?
I know who didn't work, but it is a genius spell, which is very, very fun in these kinds of lanes. And, you know, it's very fun against something like the Timbersaw that Nevermind is running. There's not too much you can really expect him to do to stop that. You don't care for the armor coming through with that reactive armor. You don't really care. You can buy all the space in the world here for Asta to farm. And as mentioned, the pressure a Timbersaw applies to the Morphling, it can be there. You've got the Inkswell combination on hand here for Polaris, but Chuan's going to make sure that if you try, you're going to get punished really hard. So I think for Polaris's part, they've got to be really careful as to that aggression that they're looking to bring out. For Asa, focus in on the farm, and for Chuan, just have fun. Soul Assumption everywhere. Make it hellish for the side of Polaris to build up. I'm keen to see what Chuan's build up is here too, because he could go greedy. He could try to go for the Silence the Grave build up, you know, just go for the Eggs and go for the talent tree that enables you to melt heroes. I wouldn't mind that. He could also go for, you know, a Dominator, get a Harpy creep, get more vision out. Could be one way, as we do have a blackout call. That I guess Polaris isn't all in the team house. I mean, Play Hard is a new addition, so he's playing from elsewhere. And power outages. That's something that's not too uncommon here as well, Mike.
Certainly isn't, John. And there you go. What a surprise indeed from Jing. They know exactly what's going on, so we'll wait for the blackout to hopefully fix itself up here, at least for Polaris' sake. It is a 1-to-1 between these two, and Polaris, obviously, after the last series against Army Geniuses, want to try and put on a decent performance here, show off this new roster, and get some points on the board for the group stage. John, that gives us time to have our classic Pro Series conversations during the pauses. Have you had Merienda today, sir?
You know, funny enough, I did. I actually did, like, grab... So I was at the airport, right? I was flying. My dad was flying, too. And... we go to the lounge, like he's got like Miles membership, so he manages to go to the lounge. We grab sandwiches from there, and my dad has this habit of grabbing sandwiches and not eating them. He brings them home. So we had like 3 sandwiches from the lounge. He gets a bunch of drinks as well. You know, he grabs a bunch of soft drinks, and we've got free cola in the house and stuff like that. But I had one of those sandwiches. It said consumed by May 1. Doesn't matter. It was in the ref. It's perfectly safe. I'm feeling fine. I've done that multiple times and I haven't died yet, Mike, so there you go. Iron stomach.
Hey, why else do you get the membership, right? Like, it's not like you get any benefit out of them these days. You just, go into the lounge, get some free sandwiches for yourself, take them home, feed the family, you know? It's one way to do it. Some people would call that cheap, Jonathan. I think it's intuitive. I think it's very clever of your father.
I mean, how is it cheap? It's there, it's free. You don't have to eat it there. You take it home. It's just
Well, I think it's implied you don't do that.
Yeah, but you know, you paid for it with your miles, with how often you fly. You know, it's just there.
Well, no, you paid for entrance into the lounge, Jonathan, and the lounge comes with the sandwiches. But the sandwiches aren't meant to leave said lounge, I believe, is the way it works.
Well, it's not like they'll ask you, sir, please eat your sandwich on location. Because that would be awkward, wouldn't it? I mean, I can imagine a conversation, though.
Oh, I would have loved if they did.
Funny one.
I would have loved if they did.
Yeah, you know, the typical, like, dad thing, you know, you start to argue back. Well, I got these sandwiches. They can just imagine that happening. I'm sure no one would. It's a sandwich in the end. It's expired anyway at this point.
What kind of sandwich was it, John? Do you want to describe the sandwich?
It was an egg salad sandwich. Yeah.
Egg sandwich as well.
Well. Just an egg sandwich.
You're really risking it now, huh? With the expiry date going for the egg one.
Hey, it was in the fridge, Mike. We've got a really good fridge now, so things stay fresh, relatively. I took a sniff. You know, I used the good old nose to check if it was good, and it didn't smell sour. Didn't see mold. Still good to go, Mike. That's the Filipino spirit.
You've been living it up recently, haven't you, John? Like you got eye surgery. You told me you had a great fridge just then. Where's all the money coming from, John? Are you casting without me again? Are you negotiating pay without me? Is that what's happening?
Believe it or not, Mike, that NFT John is booming. I've gotten the royalties in, got my kickback into my wallet, and you know that's it. It's just NFT John. What can you do?
I have kept track of that, by the way. There's no offers currently on that. I was going to rush to buy it, but then I realized I didn't have to, John. There's literally 0 demand and too much supply. Being 1. Literally 1 of 1, and the supply's too high. Could you imagine?
Someday, Mike, it's gonna go to the moon, okay? To the moon, Mike. I believe. Gary's gonna buy it up, I'm sure. In fact, we have to let Gary know it exists. So Gary, Mr. Garyonko, there's this NFT you might be interested in. It's if your good friend John Xfire, who you did send a jersey to, not that other fella you don't know.
Yeah.
He's got an NFT.
Gary's too busy buying pictures of monkeys, Jonathan, which I suppose is rather ironic. It's just he likes the ape ones, the monkeys, cyber kongs, and I don't think he's quite got into the what's it, the bored apes or whatever the hell they're called. He got a cyber kong or something, John. I don't even know what that means. It's a gorilla, literally a gorilla, a picture of a gorilla.
I had a good laugh because I saw like a bunch of BAYC apes were stolen, and all the responses were just like, "Ape escape," Oh, Jinx saying, "Yep, the power will come back later on in Davao because Playhard is from here." I didn't know he was playing from here though.
Oh.
I don't have a power outage, but it does segment, and that is a worrying concern because my power outages, they take up to, if it's an interruption, it's like 5 minutes. If it's not 5 minutes, it's 30 minutes plus. So This is looking a bit dicey for Polaris. Maybe Playhard can rush off to an internet cafe. I think knowing where his location is, there are some pretty good internet cafes nearby. I think he could head down to Jacinto or Guerrero and just get into the shop if they're open. Last time I passed by, they weren't though.
Guerrero.
Unfortunately.
I like that.
Guerrero Street. My friend lives there. Not doxing. That's not very specific. It's a very long street.
Right.
But we used to hang out there, Mike. That's where we used to play the shop games before. That's where we hung out in our younger days. When we did get blackouts, that's where me and my friends would jump over to get some air conditioning.
Wow.
So lots of memories there. It's a fun spot. Very noisy. Right next to a college, so lots of trash talking, of course.
Naturally. Well, thank you for that, Jonathan. Very good to hear some of your past history. Always a pleasure to hear about it. Good to see you got a new fridge as well. Got to store all those egg sandwiches you've been taking. You know what, John? I'm going to keep an eye on you now. One day when you and I finally get invited to something and we're on a plane together, I'm going to make sure, I'm going to watch out for you. Just make sure you're not in the lounge stealing sandwiches and, bottles of soft drinks and, knowing you take the serviettes as well, just in case.
Look, I'm not the one with the membership. My dad is, okay? He's the one who's the frequent flyer for work. I just get to tag along. So when I fly alone, I don't have that luxury, Mike. I don't get the free drinks. Excuse me, I think I just sneezed. I don't know if that went through the mic.
It did.
I couldn't mute my mic in time. I apologize.
Must be all the eggs, eh?
It is. Yeah, actually, you're right. I do have an egg allergy. So I did take my antihistamines.
So hold on. Your dad went to the lounge. Not only did he steal sandwiches, I won't say steal, he borrowed some sandwiches from the lounge where he's a member and some soft drinks, but he took the specific sandwiches that you're allergic to. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, there's no other sandwich. It's all egg salad sandwiches, Mike, so he had to do with it. He had to make do with what was offered. That's it.
Jesus Christ. Oh my goodness. Sorry, son. I know you could die and swell up and, go to the hospital. They're free, John. Egg sandwiches, Jonathan.
That they are.
Shout out to Mr.
It's
Fernandez.
not too bad.
Does your dad ever watch us? Am I giving him a shout out for no reason?
Occasionally, the fun thing with my dad is his source of news is like, he's up there in age. Not that old. He's actually relatively young, but he's the kind of person who checks Yahoo for news. So every now and again, he'd see like, I think FSL gets on Yahoo. They're sponsored partner. So when that tournament's on, it's like, hey, Dota 2. It's like, why aren't you casting? Like, that's not our tournament. It's like, okay. Every now and again, I think he made a Twitch account actually. So sometimes he pops in, Mike. Mainly, he uses that to listen to a DJ, which is kind of funny. It's kind of cool in a way that like this older generation's into Twitch to listen to their music and listen to DJs and stuff. I kind of find it endearing. It's also just kind of funny, it's just overall kind of funny.
It certainly is. Good to have a supportive dad though. John must feel very nice for you. Very happy to hear it, sir. Shout out to Mr. Fernandez if he is listening. He's probably busy, eating sandwiches and listening to his DJ right now, but in case Mr. Fernandez is listening, shout out to you, sir. Hopefully I'll have the pleasure of meeting your lovely family one day, John. I believe you promised me lechon at your house.
Yes, for sure. 100%. It's on Japoy. We'll drag Japoy in. It's on him. He bought a car. He can afford it, Drop in the puddle for him. And hey, you know, why not? If you're here, you know, Play Hard's here, Jing might be here. Drag everyone in. We'll have a good time, Mike.
Why not? How much time do we have left, by the way? Like, this is getting a little bit scary now for Polaris. I'm not going to speak on...
last said 2 minutes.
I'm not going to speak on Neon's behalf, but I'd guess that Neon would probably give their time away as well. You know, they don't have to. It's well within their right to say no. But knowing SEA teams, usually they're more than nice. They want to play the game. All right, Dougie's given them the out of pause time. Please resume. Oh, Xavius is asking.
There is nothing that can stop this
It's a bit, you know, it's a little bit rude, Xavius. Neon, radio silent right now, giving him the cold shoulder, trying to just walk away, but Xavius continues to tap them on the shoulder. John. Oh, John. Trying giving him the classic, I don't speak English, Xavius. Please leave me alone.
Okay, 1 minute. 1 minute on the clock. That's Chuan's condition. You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of good old March.
Right.
Remember that time? TNC up against, I believe, Signal Ultra?
Yeah.
And March was the one like, oh, you know what? It's been a while. You know, let's get going. You can blame it on me. And this time around, Chuan's getting praised. Good guy. There's the tips out for his visage.
You know, someone has to be the bad guy at the end of the day. Someone has to be the bad guy. You know, back in... Go on, John. What is it?
I just noticed something here as well, Mike. Your mini-map's not the right size.
Oh, don't say that. No, it's not my fault. Look, I'm telling you, all my settings reset for no reason. I know, was it the admin? Was one of our admins getting a little bit upset?
No, I just saw it in stream.
Oh, okay.
I just tapped around.
Oh, we do have the number one admin here, Dougie. He wouldn't get in the way of the cast. He's a professional. He'll just let it go on.
Absolutely.
Love you, Dougie. If it was Nino, though, I'd hear about it within 10 seconds.
Yeah, you'd get like 20 pings.
Yeah.
That's what number 2 does to you, Mike.
Even though I tell him a million times I can't look at Discord when I'm trying to stream because I'm on one monitor right now, Nino never listens to me, John. He just says, don't you have a phone?
Good old Blizzard treatment. You know, still, we do have the unpaused. Playhard has reconnected. Wondering if he's playing from a shop, if power's back. Either one could work. And again, it's still a relatively even start. You found some pretty good kills here for Polaris. Their bot lane's been going really well for the CK Magnus combination, just threatening with that Chaos Bolt into Skewer back. And that is enough to hold back the side of Neon. You're starting to reach a point where Enry can feel comfy, but oh, Jing.
Yeah, getting caught out on the Rubik. We'll go for a lift up. Chances are he can't survive, though. He'll try to salve through it, but there's too much damage on the CK. He hits way too hard. That'll be another kill to go the way of Polaris Esports. Neon, oh, they're going to go for another. They've locked down the Pango. Enryu, he does not have Swash, but it won't matter. The shield crash will be enough to force them back. Jing will be around to just salve up the Pango. They just don't really seem to be able to slow down Natsumi, though, and you can't quite blame them, John. CK is kind of impossible to lane against right now.
Yep, you don't really have the best support to stop him, and Xavius has just been doing a good job of, you know, going for the range creep, playing with a skewer back. Jing, a little bit of a misplay with that telekinesis, dragging Natsumi closer to him, give that opportunity for the kill. Still, strong start for Polaris again, 2-1 rallying after that last series, which did go heavily in AG's favor. So we are seeing that second life come true, and this is good signs for Polaris. Neon, arguably a tougher opponent, considering that Neon did come in from Div 1. So the fact that they're doing so well just shows us that the old Polaris is still around there, Mark.
Yeah. How's mid been going? I mean, you've got Avatar mode and Pugna against each other. Lelouch is there. Lelouch having a very good time right now in the mid lane. Avatar mode. Keeping up very nicely on the puck. Just a bit of an even trading lane. I suppose the one thing for Avatar mode is he can't really leave the mid lane. You're always going to have the push potential with the Nether Blast to come in from the Pugna. Naturally, Lelouch on the mid Pugna is going to go ahead and max out Nether Blast to boot. So I think for the puck, you don't really have great rotation potential unless Lelouch leads the lane himself. Otherwise, you are probably just going to sacrifice your mid tier 1 tower trying to roam for a kill.
You could try to ask for a rotation in from your supports, though. But again, just with a value point and another ward, 10% spell damage reduction is kind of enough to keep Lelouch alive or force you to overcommit for that kill. And once you do hit that level 6 on the Pugna, Life Drain is a big threat in opening up his own kill opportunity. So I think for Neon, that just means you're going to be locked into your mid, as you mentioned, and just kind of focus on those side lanes. Get as much as you can from there, knowing that the Pugna also can't rotate. He's not the best in a rotation either. So that does alleviate some early rotation pressure. But again, for Polaris, that does feel like it plays in their favor because their bot lane's going well, their top lane's not doing too shabby after that rough start. And it is looking like a much stronger start for Polaris than you might have expected from game 1, from their first series.
Jing. No stun available yet. Natsumi, though, does have one now available. Jing gonna get stunned up no matter what he does. He does at least go for the lift, but the shockwave is gonna bring him right back. They do have Avatar mode rotating, though, on the puck. He'll try after the CK. There's your Dream Coil snap on the Magnus, but they are still trying for Natsumi. He's a tanky boy, and now the life drains out Lelouch. He makes a great time rotation. Henry is the one to drop. Lelouch making it right in the nick of time. Xavius, Natsumi, I don't see how he survives, but barely just makes it.
He's just too tanky to jump. I think that's your big issue right now for Neon. You don't have the burst to follow through, and Melty's hero is down.
Oh,
but the damage output you have right now is we do have a pause this time from Neon's end. Maybe some lag coming through for Avatar mode. But it's just not there. The damage output of Puck has been severely diminished with the null changes. Again, that went from spell amp into mana cost reduction. So double null doesn't lead you to very fast kills anymore for the Puck, and you are seeing that. The CK is very tanky, 900 HP already at level 4 into 5. It doesn't feel like the bot lane's where you look for that play. They do drag Chuan down in here as well. Level 2 Soul Assumption at the ready. And the side of Polaris has kind of split apart. So maybe this is the moment Neon's waiting for. Find that opening to pin down that CK and try to buy that space out for Asta top. Issue is, with all the movement from Polaris, it doesn't really matter. Offlane Tim can just kind of do what he wants solo anyway.
Xavius went from asking for more pause time to unpausing on Neon. Classic SEA behavior here from Xavius. So I think we've all experienced that one, John. Chuan's got 100 ping going on apparently, or at least somebody does on the side of Neon, so they'll have to get that sorted out. I don't know why they're complaining though, John. I play on 100 ping on the SEA server. I don't complain. Sure, they could do it.
Yeah, sure. Something to get used to. Heck, 100 ping isn't too off the mark for the ping I get from here. I think I get around 70, so hey, maybe it's better in Manila. I don't know. I think my routing just goes up to Manila into Singapore instead of directly. So we'll have a Dota 2 restart, 9 minutes left, pause time, so they'll take their time and... Asta, yeah! No chill.
And this pause sponsored by PLTD. Or PLDT. PLDT. Thank you, John. I missed that one. People get what I'm trying to say.
More like PLDC, eh?
Right.
People's experiences.
What's the difference? I see PLDT, I see PLDC. Like, what's the difference?
Oh, PLDC is just a meme. Because, you're always DC.
Oh.
So, just what they turn into.
Now I thought that was just the company name the whole time.
Oh god, no. That would be very unfortunate.
Yeah.
Very fitting, but unfortunate.
Right. Chuan. Wait for his teammates to come back. Saying hello to each other, I believe.
Yep. Just a nice hi.
I don't know. You can't pronounce this, I'm guessing.
No, I'm not sure if it's something we should say, because I'm not sure what it is.
Right.
So
well,
I think
don't
it's
say
safe because it's Xavius. Xavius tends to be a very spicy lad. So just, let him be. While we've got this pause, I'm curious, Mike. You know that voice line from Boom, right? The one where I believe it's Jackie singing along. Do you know what it means? Because I just found out. It's pretty funny.
What is it, John? I don't know what it means.
So it's a bunch of lines from the song. That's apparently a big meme, and it's kind of saying, "I have red wine and I want toilet water. I have toilet water and I want red wine."
What?
Yeah, it's something like that. I don't know. It's hilarious, though. The TP in 4 might be lining up for Natsumi.
Yeah, they're going to try a second time. Natsumi, still a very tanky target. Going to try and turn on to Ching. He might actually have the damage. Oh, not quite. All right, this time it works out. You did leave the mid lane as avatar mode, but it seems like the creep wave was pushed out anyway. Lelouch should still be able to get a bit of chip damage. He does get there quickly. Looks like he will. But still, getting the CK kill going to feel very nice here for Neon, as they'll even be able to glyph up the tier 1 mid tower. No problems here for Neon. Lelouch has had a very good game thus far though. 40-5 in terms of CS. I just wonder what kind of impact like a mid Pugner can have now, right? Like, we see Pos 5, Pos 4 Pugner a lot these days. What's even the build up for mid Pugner? Like, I imagine after you get Aether Lens, but what happens after that?
You could rush the Yags, taking off the cooldown and the life drain, increasing the damage, gives you a lot of presence. A BKB is really good in Pugner as well, just allows you to stand and life drain the heck out of everyone. And you could go for something like a Kaya, maybe an E-Blade as well. Decrep plus the E-Blade is pretty strong, double ways of nullifying some right-click damage there and protecting yourself and your cores. So it's a very flexible one as Chuan.
Lelouch almost picking up Chuan. Does manage to back off, but the chase is still going. Chuan, he kind of delayed his retreat, and it is going to cost him. His avatar mode unable to help out on the puck. He's just going to have to try and push out the wave and back himself out of there, and he will. In the meantime, bottom lane, there was a chase going on into Enryu, but again, the shield crash is going to allow him to walk his way out. It seems like they have successfully slowed down Natsumi a little bit here on this Chaos Knight. Not quite to the point where the Morphling's overtaken, but you're almost about there.
It's still a bit concerning for Neon. Doesn't feel like any of their lanes really went well, aside from those early kills that they found with Chuan. Your pacing here in the Morphling's not quite high, and they're getting a chase off again.
Yeah, but they could not get in range to actually get any damage off. Avatar mode, gonna go for a Dream Coil, will aim down the Grimstroke. There is the snap on the coil. Lelouch is still gonna try and move back in onto Chuan. They should have the Visage. Chuan trying to make it as difficult as humanly possible. His play hard does eventually go down, and Chuan will follow. A 1-for-1 is now Jing. He'll be in danger. Lelouch able to find a double kill on the Pugner. And so even if they found the Grimstroke, it just took too long. And now they can really just set up for the mid-tier 1 tower if they want. Though it doesn't seem like they do. Not without a creep wave, they'll back off.
Yep. Gonna get that top up as well here. Don't manage to hand the bottle in time. No, they do still. So Lelouch has his fully topped up bottle. Has his support hanging around as well. And that's gonna force Neon to keep people on mid. As you mentioned, Mike, they don't want to drop that mid-tier 1. They need the space to get the farm and a Morphling. And they are getting that space for Asta, but it's coming at a lot of pressure. The triangle being cleared out here by Polaris could be a bit risky for Nevermind, but does manage to bail out.
Barely misses out on the Waning Rift, and now the turnaround is going to be there. Do they have the silence? Not quite. Avatar, he's just copying so much damage. But Lelouch forced the back off, seeing both supports around the puck. He's not going to risk it. But you see how fast Avatar mode can die. And that was without the silence being out on the puck.
Yeah, it's a risky spot. Like, Lelouch just does so much damage with Netherblast and Decrep. You've got to find a way they might punish.
Yeah, all up in the mid lane. Xavius, he's going to rotate to try and help out, but Lelouch, he's gone. It's the one thing. You can deal a lot of damage, but you aren't very tanky. Xavius, he will follow very soon. As even Asta joins in mid lane on the Morphling. They might go for a T1 mid tower push of their own now.
They don't have as much presence out. The damage coming through from Asta is pretty good. And they should still be able to get this done as long as there's no contest from Polaris. It doesn't seem like they're in position. They're not putting their Timsaw up front. Nevermind still farming up. So willing to have this drop a little bit lower. Nevermind comes in now. Doesn't have the healthiest mana pool though.
On the Timber, this whole assumption they've got so much magic damage, but never mind. He's not going to die initially. Chuan again going to be jumped. Meanwhile, a great shockwave towards the north, taking out both supports. So again, Avatar mode cannot help his team. He doesn't even have the Witch's Blade up yet. So no real great damage output for the puck. And once again, there's going to be a group up mid lane, Polaris. They really want this T1 mid tower gone.
Yep, and it shouldn't take him too long. Never mind, getting topped up in the mana with a life drain. Neon, it feels like their supports need 6 here. They need that spell steal, they need the familiar stuff to really have that presence on the rotations. It just doesn't match what your Visage can do at the moment, what your Magnus has been contributing with Xavius, just getting some good damage and skewers off throughout this entire game so far. Neon need to slow this game down somehow. Get us to the farm he needs, but they're getting invaded here, and they're going to lose their top jungle. So just really aggressive plays from Polaris, again, shaking it up from the last series, going for earlier timings, and establishing a solid lead already. 8-5, 3K lead up for Polaris. On the side of Neon, it just feels like they haven't found a way to get aggression there on their own. They have level 6 up on Chuan. They have level 6 up on Jing, so maybe now you could try to use those familiars to scout and get the damage off. I think the big issue for Chuan in particular right now, Mike, without the Gravekeeper's cloak up, he just melts. You get one Reality Rift off, get a couple of Chaos Strikes in, or even just one Chaos Strike, that's a lot of HP from Chuan just gone. He doesn't have the durability without that Gravekeeper's cloak, and that means he can't just stand around and Soul Assumption, which is really one of your bigger sources of damage at this point in the game.
Oh, absolutely. I thought that was going to be one of the strong points for this. Oh my goodness, never mind. Moving in on his own, he might get punished. He's still a very tanky target. He is tanking through all the magical damage they're throwing at him. Never mind, still wants to go for the kill. Enryu, he's going to show up, but he has gone too far. On the Timber, he is going to get punished. Wishful thinking for Nevermind. But he certainly does display how tanky of a target he can be. His top lane, Asta, he'll be the one being chased down now. He'll waveform towards the right side, and they won't make the jump in. Even with the RP available, they don't feel confident moving into the tier 2 tower. They'll let him go. So there'll be no kind of trade to come out for Polaris, as there is going to be a counter smoke now from Neon. Where are they headed? Perhaps in mid. They see Lelouch again on this mid Pugner. But no, they're going to head up top. They want the CK. Chuan, he's got the familiars to scout out. Xavius, he's around to break the smoke, and so is Playhard. Pings are coming out. The chase is still going though. Natsumi, he was showing on the creep wave, but they are not going to be able to make it. They see the support duo right behind Natsumi, and they know it's not safe. In fact, now Polaris, they're the ones who want to try and move in. Neon, they've still got more heroes coming in. In fact, all 5 heroes are around now. They could at least commit onto Xavius if they really want to with the coil. It's not going to happen. Instead, Enryu's going to try and rush forward here on the Pango. After the Timber they go, but after the Spirit Vessel charge thrown out, they do not pursue any further.
And they're dragging a lot of heroes around from both ends to look for that aggression. The benefit for Neon is that this gives a lot of room for us to farm in comparison to Natsumi showing up, but RCK doesn't need too much build-up anyway, and he does still maintain that #1 spot. Do love the build-up coming through here from Polaris as well. Lelouch is going for Octarine, so lower cooldown Nether Blast, lower cooldown Nether Ward is really a big one. Double Ward in the middle of these fights is pretty painful for something like Avatar mode. So we'll have to see if they can handle that on Neon's end. 8-6, 3K lead still stands for Polaris. And all that aggression hasn't cut them off from farm. Like Natsumi's still got this massive build-up on the CK, BKB next. And once that's up, we talked about this with a puck, Mike, but you're not going to have an answer for that spell immunity until you hit level 25. And that takes a long time considering the pace of this game for Neon. So we'll have to see if they can catch that CK off guard and get the control first to get that burst going.
CK is actually just such a stupid hero when you put Empower on him as well, John. The damage and the cleave, it gets kind of ridiculous. Avatar, down a bot lane, trying to catch out the Timber, but Nevermind is fine. Lelouch, gonna see Chuan. That'll be a nice easy kill for them to try and secure as Chuan still does not have the cloak up. But no, they're barely not gonna have enough damage. Chuan, he'll make it out of there, and now Lelouch, he's the one being caught out. Soulbind, gonna hold a couple down. Can they fight back? Lelouch, he'll go for the life drain on the Pugner. Nevermind, gonna jump in, but now the counter. Soulbind is out from Jing. It's still not proving to be enough, but eventually they'll at least find Nevermind. Lelouch, he's still going, but eventually gonna drop. Chuan, able to pick up the Pugner. The team fight does eventually look a lot better here for Neon. And you know what, John? Asta morphing into the Timber, it's actually a really nice way of dealing with the Chaos Knight.
The stat reduction that you get out with Whirling Death is massive against a strength hero like Natsumi. It's a really good way of clearing out those Phantasm Illusions as well. And Asa does a good job rotating in at the right time to kind of find a little bit more from that engagement. You still drop a couple of heroes here on Neon. It is just your supports, and you find 2 cores. So you compensate for that entire fight. You are starting to, again, find a little bit of your way back in here for Neon's end. You have to remember, Polaris is playing a bit greedy. They're running Xavius as this pseudo 5 that tends to play more like an off lane, building into the blink here on Mag, and he's starting to get that saving up. We haven't seen the RPs yet. Once that blink is up for Xavius, that's always going to be a constant threat that Neon's going to have to watch out for. So still a lot of room to grow here for Polaris. Same goes for Neon. You're waiting for the Manta on Asta. You're waiting for the blink on Avatar mode. And they've got a lot of ways to initiate once those items are up. Perhaps even say something like the blink here for Enryu is also going to be big. But it just really feels like as long as Neon doesn't find a way to shut down the map, Polaris' greed is always going to pay off. Again, Xavius is not being stopped. Natsumi is not really being stopped as well. And they are approaching that point where they might be too tough to manage. BKB is coming in for Natsumi. That spell immunity has no answer from the side of Neon.
Does not. Avatar. Almost going down there to Natsumi. They didn't quite have enough damage to finish off the puck. But there's your smoke up now, Polaris. Gonna move up as 4 right towards the north. Gonna find though Jing.
Top tower is under attack.
Not a bad target to start on. The Rubik gonna be spotted. Natsumi not able to get the rift off yet. Inkswell's gonna be there to help him speed up. Jing is still running. It might actually be fine. He's gonna go for a TP out, but no, they see him. Oh, he's fine.
Oh.
The rift. It doesn't cancel TPs. I forgot about that. And the skewer didn't land because they went for the rift.
Yeah, that's an awkward one. I thought Xavius would have gotten the skewer off, but not. Rift was at the right time for Natsumi to save our
Never mind.
And Neon manages to stall out here.
The life train going to save Nevermind's life as Lelouch, again, right place, right time. Meanwhile, topside, they are going to spill out Chuan. The Visage has been caught. Jing, he's around to try and help out. They do get a nice stream call off. It's on 2. Chuan is going to go down, though. They can't follow up. You'll see Avatar mode trying to chip away at Xavius, but it's not going to be enough in the end. The Neon, they'll be happy with that. Or rather, not happy with it, but that's all they can really accept. It's Polaris Esports. We're the ones to walk away with the kill, and well, matters keep getting worse. John Lelouch has got a full Octarine core up now.
The Octarine's great, but the blink on Xavius I feel like is a bigger issue here, Mike. Blink coming out on Magnus. We'll finally see some RP plays coming out from Xavius. And it's that peak point. When Polaris' greed pays off, they start to get really aggressive with these items.
Henry, you're going to cop a 3-second stun. You'll be okay. Jump in. Avatar mode again, just trying to chip away at the HP pools of Polaris, but not working too much in their favor right now. They still look very healthy. You always have that walking fountain in the Pugna. It's always going to be a bit of a nuisance to try and deal with here for Neon. Xavier's setting up with the RP available. You've got to be able to catch Jing, and there you go. You've got the Rubik immediately. That's the one guy you can't afford to RP in front of. And they've got him down now. So it should be a free team fight. If Polaris do want it, Enryu will even waste the Rolling Thunder as they look for more. They do spot out Chuan on the Visage. He's going to be able to walk away. And now Polaris, well, they should just have free dibs on this top tier 2. It might take them a bit of time, and eventually you will have your Rubik back into this, but they will eventually be able to get the tier 2, no issue here.
Forced to use the Fortify here. It's only Avatar mode still playing around up top. It's not the safest spot for him either. And the tower just doesn't take too long when you have all this commitment out from Polaris. Never mind to transfer the wave. And the Nether Blast coming true. You don't have a play. So Neon's just forced to abandon the objective. More map control coming through for Polaris. A bit of a smoke up here with a Manta on Asta. Perhaps looking for that angle in to punish any stragglers, but Polaris are already on their way out.
Avatar, he's still looking. He might find something. Oh, not quite. Instead, Roshan gonna get started. They are actually taking it very, very quickly here. Natsumi, he's right around the corner. He's going to notice now, but he's surrounded. He'll go for a BKB up. He can take the team fight. Chuan is gone, and now the RP comes out. Xavius, he caught 3 targets. That should be it. The team fight, it's all over. Neon are gone. Big tips out for Xavius, setting up the team fight perfectly for Polaris. And Roshan's all theirs.
It's not going to take too long for Polaris to clean up off the back end of Neon, and again, it's that tipping point for Polaris. They get the blink on Xavius. We always mention this with Polaris. They play greedy when they get the Magnus, but when that blink comes through, Xavius will always deliver the goods. Whether it be his Magnus or Shaker or such, he will always make sure that investment is worthwhile. And Neon, they still haven't found their footing here. The support visage from Chuan, outside of that 1 kill in laning phase, just hasn't felt as impactful. It's been paper soft without Gravekeeper's cloak. Avatar mode's not able to do much with the Dream Coil, with the BKB starting to come through from Polaris, and the positioning's not been ideal. Jinx always caught in the middle of these fights. He needs to be able to stand back, steal some big spells, have the Puck and the Pangolier be your front line, clear off that way, but it's been so difficult to execute. And Polaris just has much more leeway. Like, how do you stop this constant sieging coming through with a good front line like a Timbersaw with the slow and steady damage from Nether Blast? It just doesn't feel feasible.
Neon, they do lose that T2 mid. Outpost will be opened up. Oh, it was actually already taken by Polaris from that top T2 tower. There's going to be a big smoke up here, but it seems very desperate from Neon. Just trying to find any kind of successful team fight, but it could be a very rough time, as Natsumi might be around to break the smoke. Neon gonna move in. There's your Phantasm. Dream Coil, though, is gonna land. Keep in mind, the Aegis is still up. They are gonna aim down Xavius. In the meantime, Jing is gone. Xavius, he'll buy back. Play hard in the corner, in big trouble. He's down to boot. Enryu, he will be the second here down for Neon, as Natsumi can keep going. He wants Chuan. But the Visage is fine. In fact, no, he's not. There's a blink up on the CK. Natsumi to find the third. They are still chasing for more. Avatar is going to orb in the tree line, but they know exactly where he's gone. He will TP out in time, though. He'll be alright.
Bit of a bloody engagement. They did mention for some buybacks here on Polaris. So not the cleanest fight for them. Neon feeling decent enough after that engagement. Finding some kills of their own. Still can't handle that CK. Natsumi's just way too big despite that good start. Couldn't get the chain stuns off. Couldn't take care of that Aegis Life Hold though. Ooh.
Yeah, Jing brought out Natsumi. Gonna have absolutely no problem just taking him down. A very balanced Chaos Knight hero we have here is Natsumi now. Going onto the tier 2 tower. Trees being cut down everywhere, as we are going to have a bit of a creep skip coming out. Avatar mode
Radiant's top tower
is not going to be able to get that last creep, though. They do save it with the Decrepify. So never mind, he can just tank the tower hits. Make sure the creep does not die. Enryu will be able to take it out, though. He'll be alright, but Natsumi jumps right in. Enryu will go for a Rolling Thunder. Back into the backside, onto Xavius. You'd love a dieback. On the Magnus if you can get it. Meanwhile, Natsumi catching up the Morphling as he does get force-staffed away, but Asta still not safe. Never mind. Maybe jumping in a bit too far is going to go down surely. But no, they missed the chains out. Never mind, still fine. He'll chain out of there again.
is under attack.
So Polaris, they won't lose anything. They still have the Aegis up for another minute and a half. Maybe they can try for that T2 bottom tower again. But it does seem like they're going to take a bit of a break for now.
Yep, they can afford to just kind of soft reset for a bit. Lelouch topping up Nevermind will find a DD as well. So it could just hand the bottle over if he wants to. It looks like he will. Double damage on Natsumi is going to be pretty damn big. Again, he has pretty good base damage to play with along with the Empower. So much right click coming through from Natsumi and no clear answers coming through from Neon. They still hold onto the high ground. Aegis still stands for a minute. Polaris could look for more and try to open up the high ground siege with a couple of kills. Neon, for their part, just needs so much more time. Asta's working towards Scotty. You've got the Kai Sanj being worked here by Avatar mode, still a ways off. Blink's almost done for Jing. So this should lead to our Rubik being able to reposition a lot better in these fights and just stand back a little bit better.
Yu's out, Enryu. You'll get the roll up off. There's your Soulbind. He will be able to blink away though. He's alright.
Radiant's
Tier 3
bottom
tower, maybe not so much. Double damage popped.
are fortified.
be a very dangerous team fight now. If you do want to make the jump in, Natsumi, here already goes. Orchid out. He gets the silence in the puck. There is a buyback on Avatar. He might just have to commit it right now. Chuan, in the meantime, going to get deleted by Natsumi. Not even close. They are still trying to catch Natsumi on the CK. His Aegis is going to expire in 10. But even then, I wonder, does he bother backing off? They're just so strong right now.
Radiant's top tower is under
It feels like there's no need to retreat. They'll get the reset on the CK. They are still going for the tier 3 tower. Skewer's not going to land. Asta, they'll be okay. There goes the tier 3.
has fallen.
And that may make it so they've had enough. But no, Polaris, they are still sticking. Smoke up, kind of obvious. Asta gets orchided up. Natsumi didn't have the blink up though. Just timing that one a little bit. Play hard gives the well played. And that'll be enough. Seems like they thought the blink was off cooldown, but it was not the case for Natsumi.
They still managed to find the objectives they want. Neon doing a good job of mitigating your losses, preventing that siege onto the racks. So they're getting some time for it. Try to build up on the region.
Oh no.
Gold.
I mean, he barely saw them with that orb, but the problem is once Natsumi blinks in with the Orchid, you just can't survive this as Park. You've got no BKB, no Yules, nothing.
Yeah, you just don't have that durability, and you don't have that way of escaping anymore. And Polaris again just catching out the right heroes at the right time. Neon don't have much of a map to play with. Polaris are just standing across the river here looking for more.
Oh, even find the familiars. Both gonna go down. He orchided one of them up just in case he got away. And it actually works out for him. In we go. Into the mid-racks. 35 seconds without the puck online. Very hard defense to expect. Natsumi
Dire's middle barracks are under attack.
jumps right in, Jing. Gonna be targeted, but a nice lift up. Life Drain will be there. Jing, he's in big trouble. He's gone. Enryu, Soulbind, not gonna lock him down, but the RP certainly will, as they'll just go right to work. Enryu, he'll survive for now. Still trying to find a way out. Gets Yules up. Can he make it? It doesn't seem like it's Avius. He had the Skewer up.
Dire's middle
That'll be
barracks
enough.
are under attack.
They'll go right after the mid-tier, right after the mid-racks now. There's no way to protect it. Avatar's gonna come back in. In fact, are they gonna go for the mid-racks? Natsumi, he does blink out for now, maybe expecting a bit of a reset here for Lelouch. And they are not gonna go ahead and finish off that melee barracks.
Play it safe. Again, no rush here from Polaris. They understand that. They've got a really strong position right now on the map. They're cutting off Neon from working the camps anyway. Neon can't freely go up and try to farm up in this downtime. And they will get some control back, but there are some forward wards from Polaris to make them aware of that movement. So they can always look for the punishment. Natsumi pops the Phantasm. Smoke out from Neon, though. This could give them an angle here.
Go, Asta, he'll front line. Chuan is going to show. Natsumi immediately in onto Chuan, though. Just wants the visage down. They're trying to get Lelouch, though. They've got the Pugna trapped up in the Dream Coil with the Rolling Thunder. Meanwhile, Chuan, he does go down. Buybacks are coming out, though. The team fight's not over. It's a 5v4 scenario here. Neon, it's the best shot they've had in a while. Is Natsumi going to be forced to BKB and run. Neon, it seems like they want to keep going. Can they find someone to pick off, though? Natsumi, he'd be the one they want. They're trying to catch up. Avatar, nothing like the Dream Coil available. Natsumi, he's going to be okay to back off. Unfortunately for Neon, Roshan is not up, so they won't have that opportunity to go for that yet. That'll allow Avatar, or rather Polaris Esports, to just get that Grimstroke back up and alive. The game still not over here for Neon.
They're doing a good job of, again, just preventing themselves from losing any more into high ground, forcing these fights outside. Good spike out, gives them a couple of kills. Might find more.
Never mind. Overextending a little bit. He's going to use up. Still a very tanky target. Is not going to tie. Will not be able to have the full lockdown for him. In fact, Natsumi wanting to go for the fight, but just not seeing the target he could really take down instantly.
Yeah, it's just a Missed opportunity, not the biggest deal in the world here for Polaris. Phantasm cooldown, not the longest considering the uptime. They are just patiently waiting for Roche. 20 seconds away for the respawn. Another smoke out from Polaris. They know Roshan's going to be up relatively soon, so look for that kill advantage. Get Roshan, go onto the high ground. Neon's got to be careful about who they drop here.
Where are they headed? Mid lane, pings are out. There's a 3-man smoke. Neon, they're going to avoid it for now and spot out Roshan instead. Asta, no hesitation, is going to go for Roshan immediately, but this is very risky. Polaris, they are smoked. They seem to know that Roshan might be happening. Or do they? Asta? He's still getting away with this for free for now, but there's your pings out. Xavius knows something's wrong. Roshan is dropping at a very fast pace. They've got to check. There you go. There's the vision. Never mind. He knows. They pop the Phantasm. They know they've got to fight. Asta, he kept going. Natsumi, he saw the puck. That's a great target. They've already got him down. And now they've got the Pango. Natsumi deleting 2 instantly. Neither one have buyback. And that'll be a free Roshan to go the way of Polaris. And a double damage. Oh no.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Neon. Valdsy played to try to go for the Roshan, doesn't quite pay off. And now Polaris is a massive opening for that high ground. 2 lives on Natsumi once more. Double damage will make short work of these objectives and the heroes. And the side of Neon, it's starting to feel like their backs are against the wall. DD pop by Natsumi. Not going to take long for these towers, for these objectives to melt.
Under attack.
And it will not. Things are just getting rougher and rougher here for Neon as there's your Heart of Tarask up now. 4.2k HP pool for the CK. Very, very nice. Yeah, a little bit more once you have the BKB back in the bag. Why not? A bit more strength never hurts, John. Natsumi. For that secondary barracks now. Of course, they won't be able to go for the Megas, but they can go for the fight. Jing. Only takes 1 hit from Natsumi to get it done. Especially with the double damage rune. They'll go for a Rolling Thunder. Jing, he's going to buy back. They've got to try and burst down the CK first. Natsumi, he's just so tanky. He's not dying to the first initial onslaught anyway. As never mind, they got Asta. Oh, Asta's gone without buyback. GG's called. Neon, it's a rough effort here for game 1. It is not going to work out in their favor. Polaris able to pull off the first game victory.
Yeah, I think Polaris just worked their draft a lot better. Neon, I mean, they try something else with a Visage support. I was excited of the prospect of Visage Pause 1. Honestly, it feels like if they shifted that position for the Visage, ran that Pause 1 here, right? You wouldn't be pressured by the Timbersaw as much. You'd be able to get your farm up, and you'd have greater presence. We didn't feel as much presence out from Chuan. I think as a support, the Visage is sort of lacking, depending on the lineup. And his spell build, like, I do get why you want the Grave Chill. You want to be aggressive. It just felt like Chuan was caught off way too many times for that to even work. Yeah. If he had Gravekeeper's Cloak instead, he might have survived. Got a couple of uses off from Soul Assumption. Softened some targets up for them to melt. Didn't quite happen. I think Polaris, we're seeing what can happen if they do play well. Right? They go back to this really greedy draft. They have this Magnus 5 that acts as an off lane, a secondary off lane instead, getting the build up for the Blink. And Polaris manages to get that space going for it. And they just win out all their lanes really well. The side of Neon just, again, maybe down to the draft, but not having the proper response to deal with these lanes. Like, on paper, their draft looked really good. You had Rubik up against Pugna, up against Magnus. Jing couldn't get the steals off. His positioning wasn't perfect. And Polaris manages to find that punishment. So you can't take Polaris lightly just because they've had that roster shakeup, just because their last series didn't go all too well. This is still a very experienced team that can punish you. And for the side of Neon, maybe going a bit too avant-garde with that draft. Just pulling out the support Visage from Chuan, while exciting, didn't have the impact that you'd expect him to have in most games.
Well, with that, John, we are going to head off to a very short 10-minute break before we do get into game number 2's draft. So it is MLPDotA and johnxfire, and we'll see you all again in 10 minutes.